Hey, Kris back with another Through the Prism of Chrism videocast. We're talking this week on revival. Today, faith for revival. Because if it takes faith to be saved, faith to be healed, it would also take faith for a move of God. Mark 9 and verse 23 says, if you can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. Not if God can do it, whether you can do it. So let's talk about faith for revival. First of all, I believe there is an outpouring and an ingathering before the uptaking. That's what Peter basically preached from the staircase of the upper room in Acts chapter 2, when he said, this is that. In other words, the outpouring that was being seen was a fulfillment of Joel 2 and verse 28, where it said, it will come to pass afterward, saith God, that I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh. Now, the current consensus says that around 100,000 people are coming to Christ every 24 hours. 30,000 in China, 20,000 in Latin American nations, 10,000 in Africa. There is an outpouring and an ingathering. Number two, we can trust prophecy because we can track history. You need to know your revival history. The Great Awakening in America, Great Awakening could be a rude awakening. You know, out of a population of 300,000, 50,000 New Englanders came to Christ between 1740 and 1742. And you talk about the revival of 1857, Cane Ridge Revival, Second Awakening, etc. But let me tell you something. All flesh is not talking about American flesh. Winky Pratney, in his revival classic, catalogs revivals all around the globe: Nagaland, India, Argentina, UK, New Hebrides, Ireland, in Germany, listen, and many other places. In Herrnhut, Germany, in 1722, the Moravian revival broke out, and 100 years it lasted with 24-hour round-the-clock prayer. Think about that. You can trust prophecy because you can track history. Number three, heaven doesn't make a move till the church makes her move. You know, in the game chess, it's illegal for one party to make a move until the other makes a move. And the church has to move. Listen, for there to be a movement, there has to be a motor. A car requires an engine. A bicycle requires leg muscles. A drone requires a battery pack. The battery pack of revival is prayer. And then number four, if you want revival, prepare for upheaval. I said an emergency room is a messy, bloody place. Revival brings upheaval. The first key is that you have to prepare. If Noah truly believes that God's going to fill his ark, then he has to bring hay and provisions and oats, and he has to start making pins. And that's what he did because he believed, okay? Mario Murillo said, planning for revival goes with praying for revival. If we ask for something we can't possibly accommodate, it can only mean that we don't expect it. And revival is upheaval. You know, when 50,000 new visitors a week started coming through the Brownsville Assembly of God in Pensacola a few years ago, that was upheaval. Imagine what it did to their new carpets. Imagine what it did to their toilet facilities. So an F5 revival tornado will leave the place a mess. And then number five, you're not through till you break through. In other words, you're not through praying till you prayed through. Ray H. Hughes was a former general overseer of the Church of God and revival pioneer back in the last century. He said in the old days of revival, we didn't get a break till we got a break. What do you mean by that? In other words, they kept having revival night after night, kept pouring hot lead into that hole until something broke. Today, if God moves, you might add a few nights of revival, but back then they went 2 weeks, 3 weeks, kept preaching, kept praying until God showed up. That's what happened on the day of Pentecost. After 10 tense travailing days of prayer, God showed up. That's what happened after Daniel's 21-day fast, praying until the angel of God showed up and resisted and fought against that prince of Persia. There was a breakthrough in the heavenlies before there was a breakthrough on earth. I want to keep sharing these revival principles. Like if you like, share this with a friend, and tune in tomorrow as we learn more on our title, 312 Azusa Street. In other words, God wants to set up his permanent address in your church. I'll see you tomorrow with more on Through the Prism of Chrism.